Thank you for joining us. I'm David Huff, the Corporate Relationship Manager at Cass Business School, and I'm excited today for our latest episode of Curious Careers to have Xavier, who is ex-Merrill Lynch and a former co-founder and CEO of a bank. Thanks for joining us today, Xavier. How are you?
Thanks, David. Very well, thank you.
Excellent. Thanks for joining us for Curious Careers to tell your alumni story, which is a fantastic one. Before we get too deep into it, though, could you tell us a little bit about what program you studied at Cass Business School?
Yeah, sure. I did the MSc in investment management
Okay.
because I've always been interested in finance, and so there are a number of programs to choose from. Really, there was a mathematical trading course which was very interesting as well. But in the end, I went for the asset management one.
And did you always have in the back of your mind, I want to get into finance, I want to get into banking, or were you pretty still open at that stage?
Yeah, no, definitely finance and markets.
Okay.
Banking wasn't entirely clear yet at that time, but definitely getting into the markets, which probably in my mind meant going to an investment bank or something like that. Yeah.
Excellent. And why did you choose Cass Business School? What was it about Cass that made you say, that's the place for me, that's where I want to go?
Yeah, I think a number of things. I mean, a number of things. One is the people teaching there who have a close link to the city.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, I had that goal in mind to start working at an investment bank or one of the capital markets organizations in the city. So the ties between teachers there and that was important. The proximity to the city. I mean, the business school is literally just there,
Right in the middle. Yeah.
right there in the middle. So that just a number of these things, and then obviously the programs. I mean, I looked at the number of programs. This is a very focused program. So yeah, it was really. I had a very focused idea of what I wanted to do, and that ticked a lot of boxes.
Excellent. And not to give away your age, but you went into a very tough job market. You were back in 2008 that you graduated, 2008, 2009, that really tough
Oh no,
financial crisis.
you're being very kind. No, it was actually 10 years earlier. So at the time there was also a very tough crisis. So there was
Okay.
the Russian default on its sovereign debt,
Yeah.
which was followed by the Asian crisis. So that was 1998, 99.
Okay. So yeah, quite cyclical. So tough job market. How did being a member of the Cass community help in that situation to kind of get you into the marketplace, get you into a job, or how did you
Yeah.
find it?
Oh no, absolutely. We a number of us wanted to start working in the city at an investment bank or fund, but so one of these organizations. The Nobody was really hiring. I mean, Merrill Lynch had just fired, I think, 500 people because of the crisis. So it was a very tough market. Myself and a few others, we sent out probably 10 20 letters, applications.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I had a few interviews. I had a number of
Okay.
interviews, probably 5 or 6.
Yeah.
But it was tough. Nobody was hiring. I mean, JP Morgan, I did 25 interviews because they wanted to hire me, but they just kept losing the headcount.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting one. In the end, one of our professors, Elias Danenis, introduced me and a few other students from the program
Yeah.
to a fixed income research team at Merrill's. They were looking for an internship, for someone to do an internship with them. And so that's how I got a foot in the door. Not for a full-time job to start with, but I essentially had the opportunity to try and prove that I was worthy of a full-time job thereafter.
Excellent. And really getting that foot in the door is such a key component because that's where you get to display your talents and kind of convince them, hey, I'm worth you taking a risk on. So that's really
Yes,
important.
yes, absolutely.
Excellent. And Cass Business School, we have a global alumni. So a lot of people come to Cass and then they might go back home or they might stay in the city of London or go in that general area. How have you found, have you been able to make use, have you kept in contact with CAS alumni as you've kind of moved on in your career and moved, you still live in London, but you've also moved out as well and done other things. So have you been able to be part of that CAS community and that alumni network?
Yeah, I think that's a very personal choice, probably. I mean, for me, there's a handful of people that I'm still very close to. There's a broader number that I still have very fond memory of studying together with and seen them thereafter, but who've traveled across the world, and we kind of lost touch. But there's certainly a core group of friends, really, people who've become really close friends, that I'm in touch with, and yeah, who are also successful, but who are just friends, really,
Yeah.
first and foremost. Yeah.
Excellent. What advice would you give to someone watching this? They might be completing their masters, they might be doing their MBA. What advice would you give to someone who's thinking, I want to get into finance or maybe banking? What advice would you maybe give them?
Gosh, that can be a several hour conversation, really.
That's a large question.
Um, I, I think so. Probably a couple of things, right?
Yeah,
One is I think when you're studying and when you haven't worked in the industry yet, it's very difficult to really understand the intricacies of the various roles and functions within a bank. I mean, investment bank is huge. So if you can do your homework, understand what it is that you would like to do. I mean, I'll give you an example. If you're a trader in fixed income, or if you're an M&A person, for I don't know, the tech sector, for example, you'll have very different things to do, very different lives, ways of working, etc. So I think it's worth having a number of conversations with people who are in the industry, or certainly doing your research, reading certain books to get a sense of what is that you would like to do. And then once you get that, you can dive in and really focus on this is exactly what I want to do, and that usually helps.
excellent. And to kind of expand on that point, when you're at CAS Business School, there'll be a number of corporate events. Companies will come on campus, or we do virtual events in the current situation with the pandemic, so that you will get that opportunity to interact with a lot of companies and ask questions of people who are in the sector. Um, great advice. If someone is, do you think it's important for someone to have experience before they jump into finance or banking? So you mentioned M&A. So should
Hmm.
someone have experience before they jump into M&A, or what would your advice be there?
No, I mean, you have to start at some point, right? Nobody's born with experience, so you have to start somewhere. I think investment banks are good places to start, because they have these programs to recruit analysts and associates. Certainly, analysts don't need to have any experience to start with. So it's more, you try to differentiate yourself. I mean, let's be honest. There's usually thousands of people wanting a finite number of jobs. So you
Absolutely.
try to differentiate yourself. You're competing with the people around you in the program, but you're competing with really the whole world, or people from all over the world, and different organizations. So it's trying to think, what are your unique selling points. Everybody's smart. Everybody's done some studying, and
Yeah.
has done a CAS program, or something similar. So how what would make you more appealing than all these other people to an employer? And for me, the one single word that stands out, when you've narrowed it down to this group of
Yeah.
smart, educated, whatever, people, for me, it boils down to tenacity. That's
Tenacity.
one word I like to throw out there. It's how keen are you on doing this? How passionate are you about this? Because you will be spending long days together with the team. So that usually what
Absolutely.
you get to look for.
Absolutely. I really like that. And I'd like to pick up on that a little bit more. So, tenacity, how would I be able to display that through an interview process? Is it a case of coming, really well prepared on market information? how would I be able to display that so that people kind of go, yes, he's the person for me for this company?
Yes, I think a number of things you said there are key. I'll give you an example. There was a guy from my undergraduate degree who was looking to get a job at Merrill Lynch, actually, in the M&A team. I was doing fixed income, so not really close to me.
Yeah.
But he saw that I was an alumni of the uni. He saw that I had started Merrill's, and so he reached out. I put him in touch with somebody in the team that he was going to interview with. And so that allowed him to do a lot of research and actually speak to someone in the team before doing the official interviews. So the guy came hyper prepared, which was great, right? He could answer a lot of questions and he could give a lot of insights and comments on that. But even without that, it just showed someone who is resourceful and who just tries his utmost to do well and really try to get that job. So both character and knowledge were really strong in that interview, and he got the job. He got the job at Merrill's.
Excellent. Great story, because having that alumni network, to me, that's one of the benefits of Cass Business School. You have a large alumni network who are very helpful, who are very kind of friendly, personable. If you ask them questions, they're more than happy to help a future alumni. So I think that's a fantastic story. Before I let you get back to your day, because I know you're busy, what top career tips would you give our Cass community? So we probably touched on one, tenacity, but would there be any other career tips you'd maybe give us?
Sorry, I you just broke up there.
Sorry. What top career tips would you give the Cass community?
Career tips. Sorry. I think I've touched on the key ones. I think maybe so I mentioned tenacity. By that I mean really doing, putting as much effort and passion into getting your first job, but then also thinking about your next steps in your career. You're investing time and money into doing a program at Cass. That's a big investment. Keep doing that same thing when you're looking to meet people in the industry and when you progress in your career. But then first and foremost, also I would say, if you're lucky enough to find the one thing that you really like doing, pursue that, because it's easy to think, well, actually that job I could make a bit more money, or I could, I don't know, be more in the limelight or whatever. But actually, if you do something that you really like and that you're passionate about, it will show. Excellent. And when you spend 12, 14, 16 hours a day with your colleagues, it's important to do something that you like. Otherwise, you'll have a miserable life. So it won't be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So tenacity, passion, two key things.
And finding a role that really fits your personality is
very
really
good. Yeah. Excellent. Thanks a lot for sharing your story with us and for giving us such great career tips. I'll say goodbye to the Cass community. So thanks a lot for joining us. Thanks a lot for the audience for joining us as well. This has been the latest episode of Curious Careers. Until we talk again, stay curious. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.